What's up guys, it's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. The votes are in, scores have been tallied, and I am officially stuck between a gorgeous geisha and a terrifying robot soldier. Why, you ask? That's right, it's because you all wanted a closer look at these incredible heroes that seem to be ruling the roost at the top of the mountain. So we are going to have a tier list for the upper echelon, the creme de la creme. We're going to be hunting for the best of the best from the world of the construct heroes, and only the very best will make the cut. So we're going to be breaking down these heroes today, having a look at all of them, giving them some gradings, and we're going to be ranking them into tiers. So without any further ado, let's get going. Let's get started. It's time for a construct family tier list. Here we go. Right, so our first hero we're going to have a look at is Tenra. She's a really interesting looking hero, I must say. She's definitely got that construct thing going on. And we have some flames behind me in case you haven't noticed. So I just want to say, Anchor, eat your heart out. There you go. That's probably a private joke for just me and Anchor. But anyways, Tenra, she is, of course, a construct hero. She does get that passive, that poison damage passive, which I do quite like. So that's probably a tick in the right box for Tenra. Her special skill, she's running at fast speed, so I'm a fan of that as well. She deals 395% damage to a single target. So she does fall off a little bit there with just the single target damage. And the target gets soul bound for 3 turns. Now, all damage received by the caster is then also dealt to soulbound enemies, which does sound cool on paper, but in practice, it really doesn't work that well. So she's not that powerful in terms of the construct heroes. And unfortunately, that is why the best possible grade that I can give Tenra, and please don't hate me here, is a C grade. She is not the best of the construct heroes. In fact, she's nowhere near the best of the construct heroes. So Tenra is going to get a C. Now, moving on to our next hero on the list. The next one we have is Brimstone. This guy is amazing. So he was one of our first released construct heroes. I really do like Brimstone. So he is of the Barbarian class, which is a bit of a shot in his foot, but they are working on the Barbarian class, so we can give them that. He is a construct, obviously. We know we're dealing with the constructs. I don't know why I even said that, because they are. So his passive is the Destructive Core, which means he gets an extra up to 180% damage on top of his special. So bear that in mind when we're looking at this guy. He's got pretty good stats, very relevant still. I mean, he might be one of the earlier released construct heroes, so we might see a buff for him in the future. But it's all about his special. So 200% damage to all enemies. It's a decent hit all special. 200% is quite a lot. Plus you get that extra construct core damage on top of it. He then summons an eternal or infernal fiend for all enemies, and that fiend damages the target with 80% attack every turn. So a decent high amount of attack from the fiend every turn. The infernal fiend absorbs healing and disappears when it's absorbed up to 35%. So it's a pretty beefy fiend, but the main thing is it's doing a lot of damage. And the infernal fiend also gives negative 54% defense against fire. So I would say that that kind of puts Brimstone over the edge. And, you know, just for that factor alone, that it's giving the defense down against fire as well, I think that we're going to have to give Brimstone an A. He's good. He's not quite S tier as far as the construct heroes are concerned, though. I would say that if you put him alongside any other hero in the game, he would definitely be in the S tier. But just because there are so many other good construct heroes, I don't think we can give him any higher than an A. So Brimstone's going to get an A. Now moving on to our next hero in the family, and that is going to be this chunky looking dude called Hallstone. I love Hallstone. I love the art on Hallstone, and I love the name for Hallstone. He was originally released as Lift with like an L1FT, and we had, what was it, Mutiny. I wish that they'd have carried along those that theme for these construct heroes. I think that would have just been amazing. But for some reason, they decided to call him Hallstone. I guess it does make sense because he's hauling a big ass stone. And his special skill, so he's kind of got a random effect, but it's based specifically on the amount of HP that your team have. So first of all, let's look at his core. So he has the health or the healing core, where he can boost health on top of his special skill, which is really, really useful. And we've seen it with a couple of these other construct heroes as well. So I do like the fact that he's got that as part of his special. But what I don't like is the kind of randomness here. So at full HP, when he casts his special, each ally receives buffs based on their current health. So at full HP, the ally gets plus 50% attack for 3 turns, and the ally gets plus 30% defense for 3 turns. So no healing, they don't need it because they're at full HP. So they get an increase of 50% attack, they get an increase of 30% defense. It's nothing really to write home about, it's okay, but that is about the be all and end all of what he does at full HP. Now, if they are above or equal to 50% HP, the ally gets plus 50% defense for 3 turns and 34% mana generation. Again, nothing amazing there. If they're below 50% HP, the ally then regenerates 810 HP over 3 turns, and the ally gets 50% defense for 3 turns. I mean, the ally, it says counterattacks as well with 130% of the damage, but that's when they're below 50% HP. And there's nothing that's going to take them right back up. I mean, yes, he does get the health boost. So you could say, yeah, the core does help him in that respect. And it does. But the problem is it doesn't do quite enough. So for Hallstone, I mean, he's okay. I'm going to give him a B. So I'd say he's pretty average in terms of these heroes, but nothing higher than that. So we're not really getting into the upper echelon just yet. Now let's have a look at our next hero on the list. And this is going to be a premier one. So this little guy, Gilak, is a beast, just an absolute monster. And if you've faced him before, he is a team destroying hero. So let's have a look quickly at his core. So he does get the passive where he's got the attack core. So it gives him that additional damage, the destructive core, sorry. So an extra 180% damage to all enemies on top of what he already does. He is of the wizard class, so he deals extra damage based on buffs, which is cool. And then he's at average speed, but he deals 365% damage to the target and the nearby enemies. That's a huge hit to the target and nearby. He then summons this horrible Fallen Star Fiend to the target and nearby enemies, and the Fallen Star Fiend can absorb up to 40% of its target's max health. So even a beefier fiend than what we saw just a second ago with Brimstone. But the caster steals 38% of generated mana from the target and nearby enemies, and the effect lasts for as long as they have these horrible little suckers on them. So these fiends are beastly, man. I'm telling you, the effect can't be cleansed. It only gets removed if he dies or if the fiends go away. So yeah, he is just a crippling hero. He makes a really good part of an attacking team. Put him alongside another hero that gives defense down and you are in business. So yeah, he's a destroyer of worlds, and I cannot give him anything other than S tier. He's our first S tier hero from the construct. So yeah, congratulations, little man. You made the cut. Now let's move on. Who's next? So we've got Frond. Another hard-hitting hero with the destructive core again. So he's a beast, and he actually received a pretty decent buff recently. So this card has been increased. I'll see if I can get those figures up here on the screen for you guys as well. But he did deal 355% damage to the target and nearby. So that's been increased now. He deals 600 extra damage if the target has boosted health. And all allies' normal attacks and special skills deal 70% increased damage against targets with boosted health for 3 turns. So if you want a guy that can punish the heck out of a boosted health team, and there are a lot of boosted healers out in the game at the moment, this is your guy. Frond will take care of anybody who's trying to boost health. And I mean, he's really, really good at that specific area, but you have to be a jack of all trades to be able to make the S tier. And that is why Frond is going to get an A. He's good. He's really, really good. Don't get me wrong. And his damage is insane, and he's running at fast speed, and he gets the passive of the destructive core. But I cannot give him an S tier because he doesn't do everything really, really well. I mean, take counterattack up against this guy and he'll one-shot himself, no problem. So that is Frond. Now, let's move on to our next hero. And this is one of the heroes that was released quite early on. So the next hero that we're going to look at now is Ferris. Ferris is an awesome looking hero. Like I said before, his name should have stayed as Mutiny. Mutiny with the 1 instead of the I would have been an absolutely awesome name for him. I'm just saying. His special skill, he was one of the first ever heroes. In fact, I think he's still one of the only heroes that gives 2 different types of dot damage. So he gives not only does he hit hard, so 360% damage to the target and nearby enemies, but the target and nearby get 480 bleed damage over 3 turns, and the passive gives the corrosive poison damage as well. So that is just, I mean, insane, like dot damage galore. Pair him up with another hero that increases dot damage. You could pop him alongside Matilda. You all know by now Matilda is one of my favorites. But also the green dude from the Magic Family heroes, whose name completely escapes me right now, but he increases the damage over time as well. And you've got multiple heroes that will make effects uncleansable now. I think they would pair really well with him. And then on top of that, he's giving a negative 60% defense against nature to the target nearby for the following 3 turns. So again, it makes him really usable as part of an attacking team. It makes him insanely good against Titans as well. He's also of the rogue class, so he gets the chance to dodge. I mean, Ferris is awesome. Like, he is a really good all-rounder. But the only thing that is not going to make him quite in the S tier, and I'm sorry to say this, Ferris, but you're going to lose out just a little bit because you were one of the first released heroes in this family, and your stats have stayed the same. So just based on his team power alone, I cannot give him any more than an A, unfortunately. And that's only because there are some insanely good heroes in this portal. Right, now let's move on to our next hero. So the next hero is Shacklebolt. Man, just the coolest looking hero. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Just look at this guy. He looks absolutely insane. He does get the destructive core as well, which, you know, like a lot of these ones get the destructive core. There's not enough in terms of the boosted health. We will see a couple more in a second. But this guy's awesome, man. So 370% damage to the target and nearby. Okay, he's running at average speed. Like I said, we just looked at Ferris a second ago, and he was 360 to the damage to the target and nearby, running at average speed. So an extra 10% damage and quite a bit extra on the attack, over 100 extra attack for this guy compared to Ferris. And plus he gets the same, actually Ferris gets the other core, but he gets the destructive core. So an extra 180% damage to all enemies potentially, right? He then steals 25% mana from the target and the nearby enemies, and he distributes that mana to himself and his nearby allies as well. So he's hitting like a truck, he's getting that extra damage, and he's increasing your mana. He's stealing mana and he's increasing his own mana. And on top of that, he copies all dispellable buffs from the target and nearby enemies and randomly distributes them on allies. So he's doing like a Mad Hatter effect. He's hitting 3 for a huge amount of damage, stealing mana. He's just doing every single thing that you want him to do. And he is a fantastically underestimated hero. So for him, I would say he is in the S tier from these heroes. Just an absolute monster among these heroes. So yeah, Shacklebolt, you make the S tier, dude. You're just insane. Now let's move on. So the next hero that we're going to have a look at here is our most recently released hero, in fact, and that is Carter. Carter is an amazing hero. Don't get me wrong when I say this. The only problem is that we have another hero who can do pretty much exactly the same thing. And that is Ariel, costume Ariel. She's been around for ages and she's been doing exactly the same thing for ages. So you can't really have somebody who does exactly the same thing and then just say she's an incredible new hero, because it's not. We've seen this before. So anyway, let's take a quick look. So she gets the boost core, whatever the hell it was, the revive core, the boost core. I've completely lost for words now. But she recovers 45% health for all allies. So it's a 45% health recovery plus an additional boost from whatever health is stored up in the core. She then lifts the latest cleansable status ailment from all allies and randomly distributes them on enemies. Okay, so not quite the same as Ariel, but it's like a combination of costume Ariel and Lady Loki. And I'm telling you now, I have Lady Loki maxed. I've used her quite a bit and she's not as effective as you would think. The fact that you can lift a cleansable ailment and distribute it to the opposite team seems amazing, but it doesn't always work well in practice. And if anybody going up against you on defense has half a brain, they're not going to bring ailment dealers against you. So she does have a pretty big Achilles heel, unfortunately, Carter. And despite the fact that she looks absolutely amazing, she's not my favorite hero. And the increase of 24% mana generation for 3 turns is okay, but it isn't everything. So for Carter, I'm gonna give Carter a B. She can have a B. She's an average hero in this group. All right, so that is where Carter is gonna sit, at the B grade, but no higher. So who do we have next? Oh, okay. So the next hero in this group, I mean, just an S tier hero all day long. You can have a look at some of the top defenses. You will see Natica everywhere. She is just a beast. I don't know if it's a she. I don't know if I can say she. She kind of looks like a she to me, but she's an incredible hero. She recovers 45% health for all allies. So same as we just saw with Carter. She increases the mana of the nearby allies by 33%. And that is what is so strong about Natica. Just that in and of itself, a big mana gain alongside a really great heal, plus the health boost core as well. And you can really do some amazing things with her. You can put her next to slow speed heroes, get them charged within like 6 or 7 tiles and ready to just wreak havoc on the opposition team. Then the nearby allies nearby allies get 40% increased mana generation as well for the following 4 turns. So again, you can get them to fire off quicker, and the caster and the nearby allies get an increased 50% critical chance. So I've been using her on my Titan team as well, and she's definitely increased my scores with that increased critical chance. But it is just kind of a bonus. The main thing about this here is that mana gift. And she is kind of what X-Null was. In fact, she's a little bit better than what X-Null was, I would say, in my humble opinion, although X-Null was giving it to everyone. I think it was 20%, but she's pretty damn close. So yeah, Natica easily makes the S tier in my humble opinion. Now, moving on to another absolute monster in the Construct Heroes, and that is this guy. I mean, just looking at this guy, you can already tell that he is just a destroyer of worlds. Again, he's one of those heroes that you're going to see everywhere in all of the top meta defenses. Charl, Better Call Charl, is just an amazing hero, honestly. So he gets that same health boost core, but he is a hitter and a healer. Sorry, guys. And you know how much I love hitter healers. I think you can't really go wrong with most of them. Some of them you can, but most of them you can't. So with Charl, 340% damage to all enemies. So that's a really good hit at average speed to all. He then heals all allies for 20% of the damage dealt. Remember, he's got that health boost going as well. All holy allies receive strong damage as regular damage for 3 turns. So dark damage coming into holy allies is only going to do normal damage for the following 3 turns. And he cleanses status ailments from all allies, not just the latest status ailment. Every single status ailment is cleansed as well from all allies. So Charl is a beast. If I could give him an S+, but I don't have an S+ yet in my tiers, he would get one. He is just that good. So if there's any construct hero that you want this is your guy. Charl's your man. 100%. Now, who else do we have on this list? Okay, so we have got a 3-star in the construct heroes now as well. And I can't forget about the 3s and 4s because they are some of the lifeblood of the game. So I want to have a look at these as well. And this little guy, Beak, he is not a bad 3-star hero, actually. In fact, I think he's pretty good. So let's have a look at what he does. So he gets that construct core, the health boost core, which is no different than what they get at the 5-star level, to be fair. So he's really, I mean, that's insane for a 3-star hero to have that core. The caster and nearby allies regenerate 429 HP over 3 turns. The caster and nearby allies get 45% chance to dodge attacks and special skills for 3 turns. And the caster and nearby allies get 45% critical chance for 3 turns. So he's giving health over 3 turns. Yes, it's a heal over time. I'm not the hugest fan of that, but you know, it is a good heal at the 3-star level. Plus the health boost kind of makes up for the fact that he's not healing everybody, just the caster and nearby. And then the dodge is annoying as hell at the 3-star level. I mean, we've seen with the, I forget her name now, the red hero from the Clash of Knights, the 3-star hero. She is amazing, Fawn. And she gives that dodge to the caster and nearby as well, and is really, really effective. So I can only imagine Beak's going to be great. I do have a copy. I haven't quite got him leveled yet, but I will. And when I do, I'm going to do another video on Beak. You can hold me to that. And then the caster and nearby getting 45% critical chance as well. Critical chance at the 3-star level is very rare as well. I think Malia, probably from the Atlantis family heroes, is one of the only heroes that does it. Granted, she does it for all the team, and I think maybe hers is a slightly higher percent critical chance, but I could be wrong. But it's a pretty effective skill at the 3-star level. So yeah, enough said about Beak. In fact, I've spent a long time on Beak. But yeah, in comparison to all of the construct heroes, with him being a 3-star, I'm going to give him a B. I think he deserves it. He's pretty good, but then I think we can do better. So we'll see in the future if we get any more 3-stars. And then we have another 5-star. So this list is in no particular order. It's just literally the way that they're coming up for me. So another 5-star, we've got Scath. So he's, I think, our newest. In fact, Carter's the newest. He might be the second newest. So his special skill is called Void Bomb, right? And he's running at slow speed, so that's kind of a no-no. But anyway, all allies regenerate 1,290 HP over 3 turns. The effect can't be dispelled. All right, that's new. But the caster counterattacks with 145% of the damage received for 3 turns. Nothing you can't really wait out. I mean, yes, he's going to be healing and counterattacking. He then stores all damage dealt to the caster. So he's encouraging you to wait out his special, and then he's storing damage that you deal to him over 3 turns. When the effect ends, stored damage is dealt to all enemies up to a maximum of 1,050 damage. Okay, that you read that number and you think 1,050 damage is huge, right? It's not. It's just not. That kind of damage is like like 400%, no, 300, maybe 350% damage hit. Maybe not even quite that much. But the thing is, if you don't hit him, the damage doesn't come into play really. So you can kind of wait him out. The effects can't be dispelled, but he can be killed. I mean, you can just take him out if you have enough power. If you don't have enough power, just wait 3 turns and then try again. And he's running at slow speed, so it's going to take him ages to charge back up. So there's a reason why you don't see this guy very often. It's not just because he's hard to pull. He is hard to pull, but he's also not a very good hero. So, sorry guys. Unfortunately, I cannot stress how not great this guy is. So he's going to be our first D. I think he's going to be our only D from the construct heroes, but he just isn't good. I think he definitely needs a rework on his special skill. Yes, it's kind of nice that he gets the boosted core, but he's just too slow to be doing anything really effective. And that is my thoughts on Scath. So let's see, who else do we have? Oh my goodness, we cannot forget about this amazing chickie, Blossom. she's just such a beautiful looking hero. Like, she looks completely out of place in amongst the construct heroes. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, but she looks incredible. Now, her special skill is Songs of the Cherry Tree. She recovers 42% health for all allies and dispels buffs from all enemies. She recovers 50% health, 50 health per each removed status effect for all allies, up to 400 health in total. So the last bit we could really do without. Honestly, you could just give her the 42% health and the dispelling buffs from all enemies, and I'd say she's a great hero. And that's a very, very basic special. She is a 5-star hero, so you kind of expect a little bit more. But dispelling is a very strong skill at the 5-star level. Plus she gets that health boost on top of it, and she is at the right class as well. So for Blossom, I'm going to say she's an A-grade hero. I mean, honestly, I really do believe that she is an A-grade hero. She is an excellent healer. That is her only function, but you only need to do one thing and you need to do it well, and Blossom does. And if maybe I'm just being a little bit gracious because I like the art on the card as well, but I seriously do want Blossom. I think she's an amazing hero, so congrats to any of you who have her. She gets an A-grade as well. Now let's move on. Hornfell. Right. This guy confused me, and he still confuses me to this day, with the Bulwark Charge special skill that he's got, because I was like, okay, is this knockback going to be, or knockdown going to be incredible? Is it going to be like terrible? I can't really tell from reading his card. But in practice, I've had a lot of people tell me now that he actually doesn't really do that much. And I'm reading into it now and I can see that it doesn't do that much. So let's have a look at this guy. Right. So he gets this, obviously the damage core, the destructive core, which we've seen a lot with a lot of these constructs. He deals 480% damage to the target. That's a lot of damage for a fast speed hero. That is really like a full-on snipe. And then he also does minor damage to the nearby enemies. So far, I mean, that is a pretty damn good special running at fast speed. And then he knocks down enemies. Now, this is where everything just falls apart. So it says this has a different effect based on the team of this character. Attacking team, the target and nearby enemies have their normal attacks delayed by 2 turns. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. Normal attacks is like nothing in this game. Special skills is where it's at. And then on the defensive team, the target and nearby enemies, what does it say? Don't contribute to troop damage for 2 turns. And I thought that was going to be like, okay, so they can't get any damage whatsoever. But again, when you think about it in terms of raids and wars and the places where we really, really want to use these heroes at tournaments, things like that, it doesn't really matter that much. So basically you can take all of that horrible knockdown weirdness away and just say he's a sniper. He does 480% damage to the target and he does minor damage to the nearby enemies. And that is him in a nutshell. So there's nothing else going on. And yeah, apart from the fact that he hits like a truck, I've got to give him a C grade, because he's not much better than just a straightforward upfront damage dealer. So those are my thoughts on Hornfell. I feel like I'm going to get absolutely axed after this video. Please don't hurt me. All right, cool. So the last hero I think that we have in this list is going to be Bone Chill. Bone Chill is the newest 4-star hero that we have from this portal, and I was a bit harsh on him in a recent video that I made, and I want to make right with that now. I do think Bone Chill is an incredible 4-star hero. All right, so hear me out. So let's have a look at this guy properly. So he is of the fighter class, so he gets a chance to revive. He gets the destructive core on a 4-star, so it's 180% damage to all enemies. And then he deals 240% damage to the target and nearby enemies, so an equal hit 3 at fast speed, plus the damage that he gets from the destructive core. So that's cool. And then the target and nearby enemies get negative 34% defense against special skills for 3 turns. Now, I was a bit disappointed about this because I know that in beta, he was doing a regular defense down, and I believe it was a higher percentage as well. And I would have loved that. I would have just absolutely loved that. But defense against special skills is pretty damn cool as well. Granted, it's a lower amount, but with everything else that he's doing, and I actually like the fact that he's giving the caster and nearby allies that 86% defense against nature for 3 turns after he does his special. So as a complete package, I really like him. I think he really works very well. I just want to see where I put him on my list. Um, right, where is he? Where are you, Bone Chill? I'm sure you're in here somewhere. Sorry, I gave him a B. Right, I gave him a B, but that is only because we're looking at him compared to the other heroes in this group. So he is going to be getting a B as well. And I think that just about does it for our list. So without any further ado, we are going to go ahead and we will have a look at our tier list in just one moment. Right, so here it is, the culmination of our Construct family tier list, right there in hopefully an easy to understand format. So just in summary, we have my boy Scath bringing up the D spot. Unfortunately, he is the worst of the Construct heroes in this list. We've got Hornfell and Tenebrae in the C positions. We have the humble Rustbeak. And we've got Carter, Hallstone, and Bonechill in the B spots. We have Ferris, Frond, Brimstone, and Blossom bringing up the A tier. And then finally, the top of the Construct heroes, the upper echelon, the S tier heroes, we have Shacklebolt, Gilak, Charl, the ever-present, and Natica. So I hope that if you guys have stuck around for this long, that this video has blessed you guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Please do let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts in terms of the tier list. Let me know if these heroes are sort of more or less where you would put them. And I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. Also, please do drop us a like and subscribe to the channel as well if you don't want to miss any future videos, any future tier lists, and everything else. So that is everything for now. I wish you guys everything of the best. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.